What's up guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to use render element for post-production in Photoshop. Let's get started. Hello guys, this is VRAY from Concept Architect. If you are new to this channel, I would like you to hit the subscribe button and also click on the notification bell that will come up next. Without wasting much of our time, let's jump right into the video. Before we head over to Photoshop, first we need to select the render element we will use for post-production. All you have to do is click on the texture icon here and choose the render element you want to use. You can also right click and hold down Ctrl to select multiple render elements like so. For the extra text render element, I'm going to use that to generate an ambient occlusion channel. To do that, all you have to do is click on the texture slot here and add a depth map. Once you're done with your rendering, you can save all the render elements and then head to Photoshop for some post-production. You can import your renders to Photoshop and start to edit. I'll put a link to a video I made on post-production earlier where I show you step-by-step post-production tips, but in this video I'll focus on using render elements only. First is the material ID. The material ID is a max based on the material ID color parameters. This channel don't have details like shadow and reflections, so it makes it easy for Photoshop to select materials in our scene. So I want to reduce the brightness of the bed here, and to do that I'm going to use the magic wand to select the bed material on the material ID. This will give me a perfect selection based on the color ID parameters. Once you click on brightness, you have your bed material selected. The next render element I'm going to bring in is lighting. This render element stores direct lighting information, which is not affected by the indirect illumination in the scene. So to use this, I'm going to change the blend mode to screen and reduce the opacity like so to make it blend. The next render element I'm going to bring in is reflection. The reflection render element stores information based on the reflection properties of a material. Surfaces with no reflection but contain no information in this render element and will appear as black. I'm only going to work on the concrete material I have on the wall behind the bed. I'll use the material ID element to select the material. Once selected, ID the material ID and click on the reflection element and max it out. You can then place the blend mode to screen and reduce the opacity too. I'm going to bring in the extra texture render element next. Please render the entire scene with one texture mapped onto all objects, and the object can be a bitmap or a procedural texture such as a VRAY depth. I chose to use the VRAY depth map with this so I could generate an ambient occlusion channel with the blend mode as multiply. The next render element is global illumination. This is where the indirect lighting informations are stored. Direct light, reflections and the likes will not affect this render element. This only helps us to further brighten our image with the blend mode as screen. You can also reduce the opacity if it's too bright. I'm going to move the extra texture elements to the base of other elements so they can be like an overlay for it. Once I'm done using the render element, I'm going to further edit this image. If you check my previous video, I show you how to create the bloom effect and also sharpen your image. I also show how to add lens effect to your images. I put the link in the top right corner, and you can also check the description for the link. This is a suggested video. If you don't want to suggest our future videos, first I would like you to subscribe to this channel and then click on the notification bell to get notified on our next upload. Let me know the suggested video in the comment section. Like this video and don't forget to share these videos with your friends. See you guys next time.